Not everything is sunny in Stormland.
It was pretty stormy. On the 28th, they traveled to Connecticut and lost to the Connecticut Sun. That was a close one, but they just couldn't get it done. That was an 88-83 loss. Our player of the game for that day was Tina Charles with 14 points, 10 rebounds, 5 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. On the 30th, they traveled to Washington to play them back-to-back. Their first matchup here on the 30th was a win, 82-77. We have 2 players of the game, Jewel Lloyd with 27 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist, 2 steals, and forward Brianna Stewart with 18 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. She was really all over the board there. And that would clinch the playoff berth in the win. However, they would play again the next day, and I believe that would give a better idea as to where they were placed in home court. So on the 31st, they played the Washington Mystics. Unfortunately, they just couldn't get it done in the end there. They lost 78-75. Our player of the game was Brianna Stewart with 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, and 1 block. That one was, I'm not sure how to word it, but
frustrating,
to say the least. They went on a 16-0 run at one point and had the lead, and then the Mystics fought back. They had a chance to tie it at the 3. I believe Sue Bird shot it. Made the first attempt, or was it Brianna?
I think it was Stewie.
It was Stewie.
It was contested. It just didn't seem like a good play.
Yeah. Gabby Williams got the rebound after, and
she just took a 2, so it wouldn't have mattered.
Was it a 2?
I think she hadn't reached the 3 yet.
Okay, but there was enough time. I mean, unfortunately, she was in a hurry, wanted to get the shot off, but there was enough time that she could have swung it to the middle again for another 3-point attempt. But it didn't work out that way. The Mystics took that one, and I think what are we still fighting for here in terms of playoffs?
I mean, I think you're 3.5 games behind the Aces for the first seed. You would like to guarantee home court throughout the playoffs, right? But I know that as a second, you'd obviously host still.
Yeah.
But you'd want to keep the West to go through Seattle. I don't know about you, but there's a couple things I noticed with this Storm team, and one's I'm more nervous about than the other.
Okay.
The rebounding battle is still something that they continue to struggle in. And I know that's not the end-all, be-all. But you'd like to get second chances. You like to avoid the opponent getting second chances. You'd like to be able to get your own rebound, But also, it just seems like I think I counted like now maybe 4 of your last 4 losses have come with like a second half collapse. And I think if we look at the rest of those 12 now, I'm sure a good amount of them you're not just getting flat out blown out. You just in the third quarter you give up a big third quarter like against the Dream on the road. You look at that Connecticut Sun game, it's only 5 points. This game, 3 points. You've got a ton of you got Sue Bird, Brianna Stewart, Jewel Lloyd, Tina Charles, John January, you've Jontel Lavender. You've got a ton of veterans, and you're not able to close out.
Now, Tina was in foul trouble against the Mystics that second game, but Ezzy did come in, and she was part of that 16-0 run and did really well. So, yeah, I understand your concerns, and the rebounds have been a concern for a while now.
Yeah, this is something that you and I have heard Coach Quinn talk about since basically the beginning of the year. And you begin to wonder, is this a mentality thing? Are people just not buying in? Is it not a priority? I don't know. I just wonder about it because there were times where it felt like, I think we talked about it, you're going on a run. And then I think when I look at the schedule here, you've kind of been bump and go.
Right.
Because you hit a streak of winning. You open up the season bad, 1-4. You win 4 in a row. You lose 2 in a row. You win 4 in a row. You lose 1, win 2, 1, 2, 1, 4, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now you're back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, I don't like this. It's not much continuity going into the playoffs. Now you get to come home and play 2 games against 2 talented teams,
right?
2 differently talented teams, because Vegas is one of the best teams in the league. But then you go on the road again to play. I mean, you play the same teams except for Chicago once. You play Minnesota once at home, and then on the road on the 12th of August. You play the Aces at home on the 7th in Super's final regular season home game. And then you play the Aces again to end out the season on the 14th on the road. And then you play the Sky on the 9th, which probably the best team in all of
Yeah.
basketball. So it's not a forgiving road to
Not
get to
at
the
all.
playoffs. And depending on how you handle things, I don't think you could take too deep of a fall. But you could really, what do we talk about with teams coming into the playoffs? If you're hot, you're the most dangerous team to play. Obviously, what did I think Sue or someone talked about it on the team about how Chicago came into,
I
they
think
didn't have
it was-
the one
yeah.
seed, but they came in hot and they won it all.
Coach Quinn has mentioned it a couple
Yeah,
times, getting
so-
hot at the right time.
That's my concern, is that just like with this next section with the Sounders, like last year they hosted, I think they were the 3, but they came in sputtering. I don't want to come into the playoffs sputtering in Subaru's final year and it just be a big mach.
Especially if you haven't done the best on the road for the season, then
Mm-mm.
you definitely don't want to be on the road for most of the playoffs. So we'll continue to look into their games here. But I mean, like you said, the rebound thing, and Coach Quinn has acknowledged it, and she has said that the way to rectify the issue is to have not just the centers get involved with the rebounds, but everybody get involved in rebounding.
Because I'm
So
sure Tina and Ezzy have done their part, and
Yeah.
Stewie has chipped in, but you've
Right.
got to see, it's got to be a team thing.
Exactly. Yeah. So as we move on here to injury news, of course, we reported that Mercedes Russell is out for the rest of the season, so she continues to be on those reports.
Luckily, nobody else.
Yeah, luckily they're clean as far as anyone else goes. We move on to some team notes here. On the 28th, Sue Bird joins investment group for NWSL club Gotham FC. Gotham is valued at $40 million, and
That's the most ever for an NWSL team, which is
Really?
great. So that was cool to me. I know it's like, oh, but she's in Seattle. I mean, she's from New York, so that made sense to me. But that was cool to see Sue investing. You know,
I think the funniest comment that or the one that I liked the most was, I think she knows a little something about soccer because she has like an advisor at home. Yeah. So moving on here, we do have somewhat of an update on the Brittany Griner situation. So the trial proceeding findings were that she wasn't provided key information on her rights granted under Russian law. She denied accusations of drug smuggling, said she did not intend to bring cannabis oil into Russia, and she was urged to sign paperwork that she did not fully understand in a secluded room. Ongoing here, the U.S. and the Biden administration now are in conversation with Russia for a prisoner swap. So the U.S. would receive Griner and Paul Whelan. Russian government officials are countering here. They want to include a former colonel from country's domestic spy agency. And that would have to involve Germany. And it sounds like Germany's not really, they're making it a little tough here, but we just want to see Brittany Griner free. It's been too long. So she was also recently on a cover of Time magazine, I believe. So we just continue to urge the Biden administration to do what they can. And we move on to some more news here, not completely related to the WNBA, but related to the NBA. And we just wanted to honor legendary NBA player and coach Bill Russell, who passed away yesterday at age 88. Russell coached our Seattle Sonics for a period of time, was an all-time historic winner, and had a huge impact off the court. He was an 11-time NBA champion, 5-time MVP, a member of the 2050-75 NBA greatest teams, a gold medalist, won 2 NBA titles as the first Black head coach in North American pro sports, and was always part of the movements of racial justice movements.
He was a huge advocate. I think he won the Presidential Medal of Freedom.
He did.
Due to his activism. He was active at Storm games. He was at several Storm games. Like the Storm shared a great photo of him in the locker room. There's one of him at practice when Lauren Jackson was there. So Bill Russell, just a legendary person, alone his playing career, his coaching career. And it's credible to know that he was on Mercer Island. He was right in your backyard.
Yeah.
Not necessarily Storm related, but as you can see, we put the little Sonics logo in the corner because he was a Sonics head coach. So sucks to see, but I know that the statement that the family put out was that he went peacefully. So that's all you can hope for.
Yes. So, of course, our condolences to anyone and everyone who is affected by his loss. And as we move back to our Storm here, they sit at a 19-12 record. They are second in the Western Conference, 3.5 games behind the Las Vegas Aces for first. And unrelated to Seattle, in case you wondered, the Aces beat the Chicago Sky for the Commissioner's Cup. So
two really good teams you have to face.
Yeah, ending your
times.
season. Yeah.
Yeah.
So moving on here, as we look ahead on the 3rd, they face the Minnesota Lynx here at home at 7 p.m. And then on the 7th, against the Las Vegas Aces, also at Climate Pledge, and that's at 12 p.m. Completely sold out. We'll have a full arena of 18,000 fans, and that is Sue Bird's final regular season home game. So should be an exciting one.
Yeah, so if you're looking for tickets to that Lynx game, I would get on that now, because I know that from what I've seen, that game is close to selling out as well.